Hi, I'm the Recruiting Maven and welcome back to my channel. Today's topic of conversation is mission statement fails, part 2. I just want to say a quick thank you for those of you who like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I deeply appreciate your kind support. For those of you who haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do that. With that said, we have an ongoing discussion on this channel with regards to the fourth industrial revolution and what that is going to mean to your career over the long and the short term of it all. And just as a quick sidebar, if you stick around until the end, I will have probably the most important tip for you in staying relevant in that candidate pool for that job and getting hired. So stick around till the end for that. So we're having this discussion again because staying not only relevant in your industry, but also making sure that you're moving through the candidacy, meaning that you're staying relevant in that application process is very, very important. Now, some of you I know that call this an objective statement. I call it a mission statement because I'm on a mission to get hired or get you to get hired. So go grab your resume and let's go through it right now. So let's just start off by saying, make sure you're keeping that mission statement no more than 3 sentences. If it becomes like a soliloquy, a whole paragraph, you're going to lose your audience, and your audience is the recruiters that are receiving that information. So next thing, tone matters. If you start off by sounding like some kind of an advertising campaign about how great you are, you're going to lose the audience because that literally tells me nothing about you. So yeah, you may be great, you may be the number one salesperson or whatever, but at the end of the day, I need substance as well. So for some of you who are putting things like flexibility, quick learner, things along those lines, please make sure that you can validate that. So when I reach out to you to reschedule a in-person interview or a phone interview and you're giving me pushback, guess what? You're not being flexible. I mean, that's the bottom line. Are you flexible or are you not flexible? How you're coming across does absolutely matter. So let's talk about what you should include in your mission statement. Now, for me, it's about clarity because things have changed. Yes, we're still going through the pandemic. Woohoo! Yeah, whatever. But the thing of it is that I'm getting a lot more people who are international candidates, and I have no idea what that means. Do you have a valid visa? Are you authorized to work in the United States for any reason? If you're not putting that kind of information on your mission statement, I have no idea why you're even applying to a completely different country. That's going to help you stay relevant in the application process and getting you to that end goal of getting hired. So keep that in mind. Now the other thing is, for those of you, and I've mentioned this in my first installment of this series, but if you're a phlebotomist applying for an electrician or vice versa, why are you doing that? I don't know that unless, again, you convey that information to me. I used to be an event planner, and I actually included that information that was relevant, transferable skills within my mission statement. And so that helped me to get the job because I was being very clear. It was 2008 and the economy had tanked and I needed to really expand myself on not only a career, but just in general. The other thing I wanted to talk to you about is I've come across a lot of candidates who, over the last 10 years that have been a recruiter, who have work gaps. And that could be a number of things, not just stay-at-home moms. I actually had a gentleman who was an accountant, a full-on CPA, and he had to withdraw from his regular corporate job and go and work for the family business. Now, he worked for a Fortune 100 company, so the volume, regulation, the risk in that larger corporation wasn't the same when he took over the family business. Now, he was doing the exact same thing that he was at the larger company. However, the risk, the legalities, all of that, the taxes, all of it was not the same. And so he actually spent about 2.5 years helping his parents, and rightly so. There's no right or wrong on that. You have to do what you have to do. But what he did during the interview process, because I reached out to him and I said, look, you do have the experience. You've been away from the industry. Technology has changed in your industry. Are you aware of these technologies? Have you continued to use or implement any of these technologies for your family business? And he said, no, but here's what I can do. I mean, I can certainly validate my skill set. And I thought, oh, that's really great. So we went back to the drawing board. I asked him to change his mission statement to reflect those skill sets that are still relevant. And then what I did is when I submitted his resume and his information and his phone screen was to say to the hiring manager, I have spoken to this candidate. He seems very qualified, and he's actually open, because he's been away from the industry, he's open to actually having a one-on-one conversation, whether you want to quiz him on anything. And I thought that was such a great approach to his candidacy. He got multiple interviews, and he was well on his way. Now, again, it's about leveraging what you know, and to the best of your abilities, you want to stay relevant in that candidate pool. So you have to be clear in your intentions about your skill sets and all of that, and convey that to your recruiter, right? When I reached out to him, he was like willing to have a really good and lengthy conversation with me about his experience, and was very, very clear. So I was able to help him on my end as well. So there's that, give and take with your recruiter. Make sure that you're asking a lot of questions and say, I do have this skill set. I didn't put it on my resume. Will you allow me to at least update on my resume? And then you may have to also update it on your mission statement, because if that's such an important piece in your skill set that hiring manager wants to see, have it multiple times on your resume, and no other greater place to have it than in your mission statement as well. My last example is I actually had a young lady who applied to a position, this was many years ago, and she actually had to have a lot of surgeries. She had some vision problems. She had gotten into an accident, and unfortunately it took her out of the workforce. She had actually graduated, took an internship, was getting ready to take on a job that they had offered through her internship, and then she had this terrible accident, and so her experience was very, very limited. And my suggestion to her was, make sure you have that. You're conveying that in your mission statement, so that all the recruiters, whether it's myself or anyone else that receives your resume, is very clear. And so she was able to change that. She did get the job. So that was really nice. But again, it's about that clarity. Don't just blame the recruiter, because we don't really know you. And just because you know that information, sometimes when we're writing things out, we're not cautious, or we're not being as detail oriented as we think we are in conveying that. And I know for some of you, you have said to me, that's personal information, but there's certainly ways to convey that information without having to give everything away. My last and most important tip for you today is, do not ever give a recruiter a reason to disqualify you. And guess what's at the very top of your resume? Your mission statement, your objective statement, whatever you want to call it. That's going to disqualify you right off the bat. If I know you're living in London and you're applying to a position in LA and it's not remote, guess what it's going to happen to you? Immediately I'm going to disqualify you, because it's not a remote position. You haven't given me enough information to go on. So do not ever give a recruiter a reason to disqualify you. And that should be avoided if you're being as clear and concise on that mission statement. So be aware of that. With that said, I do hope you found these thoughts and ideas. And again, we're having an ongoing conversation on this channel about you and your career. The changes because of the fourth industrial revolution are going to have on your career over the long and short term. So please make sure you're educating yourself on that. I do have an ever-growing playlist about that. And so with that said, I just want to say thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing to my channel. I deeply appreciate your kind support, and I will see you in my next video. Take care and have a lovely rest of your day.